or treatment. Now, in the Western medicine, what we do is we have quick fixes. Supposing you have a disease, immediately we give a quick fix and we think it cures the problem. No, it doesn't. Actually, it creates another problem. In short, I always tell my students, there is no pill for every ill, but there is an ill following every pill. Did you get this? That's called adverse drug reactions. As a matter of fact, audit now shows in the West that the leading cause of death is not cancer or heart attack, but adverse drug reactions, which is called ADR. Because we know in the Western non-science, one drug for one disease under ideal circumstances, which is called evidence-based medicine. But unfortunately, in a patient, we don't give one drug. Some of the patients, if you see, it's a laundry list of drugs, about 18, 15 drugs. And there is no science to say what happens when you combine two drugs. But do you know how people are alive? A study showed that when you give one tablet to a patient and tell him to take it daily, the remembrance or the compliance is only 73%. 27% forget. They don't take correctly. Now, when you make it 2 tablets a day, it falls to 42%. When you make it more than 3 tablets a day, it comes down to 22%, which means a 78% of people whom you prescribe this multiple laundry list, they don't take those medicines. If they did, they wouldn't be here. With every single pill has, like for example, I'll give you a very small thing. Every painkiller that you take, what's called NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, can give you a heart attack up to 5 years. From the time you take the medicine, up to the next 5 years, you can get a heart attack. Somebody says, oh, he's fine, he's very healthy. Why did he get a heart attack? He must have been taking every day pain-killing drugs. If you have a headache, one pop a pill. If you have a backache, you pop a pill. And this also damages the kidney. One of the commonest causes for renal dialysis today are the NSAIDs, which damage the kidney. In short, the linear reductionist science of the West. Reductionism, I don't think for you people I should describe what is reductionism. We have to look at the human body as a whole. You can't take a bit and examine it. Like for example, somebody gets a cancer. What do? We take the biopsy of the cancer, a bit of the cancer, and then smear it on the glass slide. By then the cells are all distorted. Then stain it with the uracil and hemoxylin. So you poison the cells. And then when they dries up, you put it on the microscope and look at it. Now the cells look horrible because they're distorted. But you can't know what that cell is. Because a normal cell and a cancer cell work alike. Remember that? I'll repeat that. A normal cell and a cancer cell work alike. And I don't know how anybody can kill a cancer cell without killing the normal cell. I'll give you an analogy. Supposing a bird comes into your house, a new bird comes into your house. To know what the bird is, where did it come from, where is it going, what's going to happen to the bird, what we do in the Western science is kill the bird, biopsy it, and then put it in the microscope and study the cells and say, this bird came from so and so. That's exactly what we do in cancer. When we say we have a cancer which we describe as metastatic, anaplastic, this, that, etc., doesn't tell you anything about the cancer. So a great biologist, Nobel laureate, Albert Szent-Györgyi wrote, I quote, I do not know what cancer is because cancer cell works like an exactly normal cell. And I don't know the distinction between the two. And I don't know how to treat a cancer cell without killing the normal cell. See, this is where we are in Western reductionist medicine. Come to Ayurveda, the mother of all medical wisdoms in the world, probably one of the oldest, along with various other systems in the East, like Chinese, Tibetan, and also Tibetan, of course, is a part of the Indian system, but also the Egyptian system. Now, all these systems started long ago when this reductionist science did not come to us from the West. Reductionist science started in 1742 with that little boy, 17-year-old mathematician in René Descartes, who said, cogito ergo sum. Because I think I am. If he had understood it a little later and a little wider, he should have said, I am thinking and that's why I am able to live. What he says is, I run this world. This is the problem with us in reductionist science. This world in the new quantum physics worldview is much bigger than what you can grasp. In short, quantum physicists say we can comprehend much more than what we can grasp. The usual conventional science is due to your 5 senses. And that is not the science, because five senses don't tell you anything. And what you know in conventional science is 5% of this world, 5%. And 95% you don't know. But when you come to quantum physics, you seem to know the whole lot. And Ayurveda is based on quantum physics worldview, which takes into consideration the whole world and your surroundings. And this is very important to know about anybody's illness or wellness. Because unless you know that, you will not be able to consider how to treat him. Or, I wouldn't want to use the word treat, how to manage an illness. So when once the human body is afflicted with an illness, we have to find out a lot of things. The most important part of the human body is his consciousness, which is called the mind in simple English.